aren't a lot of Teslas on the road in Iowa, but a car club in Iowa says you should give the electric car a second look. Tesla owners are offering a Brides in Education this weekend, the goal to get you to consider owning an electric vehicle. And here to tell us a little bit more about the event is Brian Miller of the Tesla Owners Club of Iowa. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you.
You were telling me that you have been a Tesla owner for the last 4 years, and there's kind of a funny story about how you actually bought your first Tesla.
Yeah, so we were looking for a new vehicle, and we had a friend just every day telling us we should look at a Tesla. And so we were up in Minneapolis, and we decided to look at one just so we could tell him that we're not going to buy one. And an hour later, we were sold on it.
What was the driving force of the sale?
Yeah, so once we saw the car, it was just the best vehicle that we'd ever seen in kind of every aspect. And I'm a guy who used to drive race cars, and I just couldn't believe the performance, the quietness, the technology involved in the car.
And I was saying, after 4 years, your first Tesla, now it's like Tesla for life.
Yeah, it'd be hard to think about going somewhere else. Anything else you drive seems a little bit old these days.
We've talked a little bit about it, and you've heard that they're not common in Iowa. So anywhere you go, even if you're at the grocery store, you kind of draw a crowd.
Yeah, we were buying it, somebody told my wife, you're going to be a rock star driving this car everywhere, right? And it's kind of unbelievable. Just you come up to the car, people are looking in the window, they just approach you. A lot of places you go, especially 4 years ago when it was a little less common, people always interested in what's going on with the car and asking questions about it and how you go about driving it.
Yeah, what did they want to know?
Really, the most common question is how far can it go, right? And we always tell them our car goes 270 miles, right? And that'd be longer range today. But the real question I think they're asking is how do I travel in it, right? And the answer there is the car tells you everything you need to do, where all the charging stations are at, how long it takes each of the stations to go, and where you need to go to be able to get to your destination.
And you actually put that to the test on your Tesla-cation?
Tesla-cation, yeah.
Where did you go?
Yeah, so we've done one before in this spring. We did an even longer one, so we took 15 days and we covered 10 states. We started in Iowa and went a little bit east and eventually made our way all the way to the Gulf Coast, and then worked our way back up to Iowa, and we used supercharging stations from Tesla and destination chargers at hotels the whole way. The trip cost us about $4 in fuel.
That's pretty amazing. I know we were talking a little bit about there might be a sticker shock with Tesla at first because it will cost more on the front end, but then you're saying in gas maintenance.
Yeah, so I'm a pretty analytical guy, right? So I look at this sort of stuff, right? And so the car might cost a little bit more upfront than, say, a comparable vehicle, but your fuel cost is maybe 80% lower than gasoline for a comparable vehicle, and the maintenance cost is pretty minimal. It's tires and windshield wipers basically is what the maintenance is, and so depending on how much you drive, pretty easily after 3 or 4 years, typical driver would see a break-even point.
I was really surprised about how fast you said that it charged. I was thinking maybe half an hour or 45 minutes, and you said not even.
Yeah, so when you're taking a road trip, you only need to get to the next charging station. So for our car, that might be, let's say, 20 or 30 minutes, pretty typical charging. With the new technology that's out today, if you had a new car and on a new charging station, you'd have that time cut in half, actually. So 10, 15 minutes to keep going on your trip.
And even though the car tells you where the charging stations are, we're talking about more charging stations are needed in Iowa.
Yeah, so I think in Iowa, if you're traveling on I-80 or I-35, it's pretty solid charging infrastructure. I've met a few people that are like salesmen that their territory is Iowa, and they spend a lot of time not on the main highways, and so today would be a little bit difficult. Mid-American's really stepping up, and we're putting in 13 different high-speed charging stations throughout the state, and a lot of the areas that are not I-80 and 35, so that'll really help EV drivers all throughout Iowa.
Sure, we might be seeing some more Teslas on the road, and also this weekend, tell us about the event that will, you said there'll be question and answer, test drives.
Maybe not drive, but rides, perhaps.
Ride, okay,
yeah,
right.
So,
sorry, guys.
Yep, so this Saturday from 11 to 5 at the Hy-Vee in West Des Moines off of University. We're going to have probably a dozen or more vehicles out there with owners, and the purpose of the event is to educate people and get their questions answered about how far can you go, and how do you drive, and where do you get maintenance, and where do you buy it, and this whole sort of thing.
Okay, get all your questions answered
Yes.
this Saturday. Thanks a lot, Brian, for being with
Awesome.
us.
Thank
And
you.
we'll be right back after this.